This week's Parsha is Ha'azinu, and this year it happens to fall out on Shabbat Shuvah, the Shabbat between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. While this Parsha does not always align with the Shabbat, it seems appropriate this year that the calendar should fall out the way that it does. As we stand in shul and pray to be included in the Sefer HaChaim, the Book of Life, Moshe stands on the Yarden and knows that he faces a certain and imminent death. There is a poignancy in this moment of the Torah when we are filled with the sense of inevitable end, but at the same time wish to remain in this moment as long as possible. This tension is highlighted within the content of this Parsha. As Moshe knows that he is about to die, he strives to achieve a certain type of immortality. The Parsha opens with the words, Ha'azinu hashamayim ve'adabera, v'tishma ha'aretz imri fi. Give ear, heavens, and I will speak. May the land hear the words of my mouth. Ya'arov kematar likhi tizal ketal amarti k'seirim alei deshe u'krivivim alei esav. May my discourse come down like the rain, my speech distill as the dew, like showers on young growth, like droplets on the grass. In the Sifrei, the Midrash says that Moshe at this moment cries out to heaven and earth and not to Bnei Yisrael because he worries that one day, when he is gone, Bnei Yisrael will deny that they ever made a brit with God at all. By invoking Shemayim and Aretz, Moshe is able to ensure that the nature of his words, that for the nature of his words, Shemayim and Aretz will act as his witness, even when Bnei Yisrael rebels. Moshe fears that if his words are not heard, they will not exist. He knows that they have power only if they are absorbed by those who hear them. And in fact, if we look at the special Haftarah for Shabbat Shuvah that we read this week, it echoes this urgency to be heard. At the opening of the Haftarah, Hosea entreats the people, Shuvah Yisrael ad Hashem Elokecha, ki kashalta be'avonecha. Return Yisrael to Hashem your God, because you have stumbled in your sinfulness. Hosea's vision is clear throughout the entire Sefer. The people have gone down the wrong path, and they are destined to be destroyed unless they find a way to return to God. However, as is often the case with the prophets, the people have not always heeded his voice, creating the risk that his calls will be in vain. The act of us repeating his call each year on Shabbat Shuvah ensures that his voice will be heard. We are maintaining both the privilege and the responsibility of the listener to endow the speaker with power. Therefore, it becomes our imperative to both speak in a way that allows us to be heard, but also to listen to the cries that are rising up around us. This notion is a powerful one, especially at this time of year. As we immerse ourselves in prayer, we do so with the hope that there is a listener who can promise us that our entreaties, our apologies, and our hopes are not being expressed in vain. Even as Moshe and Hosea operate on a grander scale than one that most of us will be able to access, their desire to ensure that their words will be heard and absorbed is one that is especially powerful for us at this moment. We are longing for a partnership with God, and just as Moshe needs heaven and earth as his witnesses, just as Hosea needs Bnei Yisrael to heed his call, we need God's help as we embark on this humble and audacious act of prayer. In the Hineni prayer before Musaf, the Shliach Tzibor says the days that we say each day in Amidah, Ki ata shomea tfilat amcha Yisrael barachamim, because you listen with compassion to the prayers of your people Israel. The act of hearing our prayers is, in fact, an act of compassion. It is not assumed or automatic. But it is only through this partnership that we are able to trust that our prayers will be heard, and that the act of crying out we will be supported in the act of crying out as we try to remake ourselves and the world around us. In fact, every time we say the Amidah, we open with the words from Tehillim, Adonai tzvatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Lord, open up my mouth and my lips will proclaim your praise. And we close with the words also from Tehillim, Yihu l'ratzon imifi ve'egyon libi lefanecha, Hashem suri ve'goali. May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart find favor before you, Hashem, my rock and redeemer. Our prayers, then, are not purely about us, but instead, they are about finding both a kavanah and a vocabulary that allow us to connect to that which is beyond us. As we enter the new year, may we all merit to find a way to speak so that we are heard, listen so that others around us are accepted, and to have our prayers be heard and answered so that we can heal ourselves and the people around us. Shabbat Shalom and Shana Tova U'Metuka.